Hello everyone, welcome to Biology World. So today we are going to discuss chapter 6 of class 9th, that is tissues. Okay, so what is tissues? So here you all can see I have given a diagrammatic representation which shows that the cells which are similar in structure will join together to form a tissue, then later on they'll perform function. Okay, so what is the definition? They are the group of cells which are similar in structure and work together to perform a particular function. So for example, you take your skin cells. They all look alike and they combine together or join together to form tissue, that is epithelial tissue, and help in performing a particular function. Okay. Next. So here we have different types of tissues present. Majorly we have two kinds, plant tissue and your animal tissue. In plant tissue again it is subdivided into meristematic and permanent, and in animal tissue it is divided into epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous. Okay. So here we'll start with your plant tissues, which majorly divided into meristematic tissue and your permanent tissue. Okay. So in meristematic we have three kinds. One is apical, intercalary and lateral. And in permanent we have again subdivided into two kinds. One is simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Okay. In simple we have three kinds: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. In complex we have two, that is xylem and phloem. Okay. Next, we'll start with your meristematic tissues. So basically your meristematic tissues are dividing tissues because they are formed initial stages during your growth of the plant. Okay. So as they are present in the initial stages, so that has to only concentrate on the growth of the plant. Okay. So the major characteristic features which you all can see here, I've shown in the diagrammatic representation also. If you see this green color, big structure is the meristematic cell, which has a thin cellulosic wall and it has dense cytoplasm. So this dense cytoplasm will help in providing different like it is providing space for different activities, due to which we can say these meristematic cells are highly active. And it has a prominent nucleus. You all can see in the middle it has a prominent nucleus, and the majorly important characteristic feature which you all should remember is they lack vacuoles. And here also the meristematic tissue is, or meristematic cell is telling vacuoles that there is no entry inside its body. Okay, because the vacuoles will be present in the permanent tissue, but these are your simple permanent tissue. Okay. Okay, so what you all understood? You all understood that vacuoles will lack in meristematic tissues and will be present in the permanent tissues. Fine. Okay, so we see that based on the location, tissues are classified into three types. One is your apical meristem, which is present on the tips of root and stem. Next you have intercalary meristem, which is present in the internodes area. Okay, internodal area. And then you have lateral meristem. Okay, this lateral meristem will be present in the sides. Here also you all can see this is the location of your apical meristem, and this is the location of your intercalary meristem, because they'll be present in the internodes and the nodal area. And the sides, if the meristem is present on the sides, then this meristem is your lateral meristem. Okay, I hope with this diagram you understood the location of different meristematic tissues, and now we'll see their characteristic function and location. Okay. Next, if you see, we'll start with your apical meristem. As I already told you, the location is, it is present at the tip of root and shoot. And what is the function? Function is to help in increase the length of the stem and root. Okay, because at the initial stages we have to only look for the growth. Okay, so here your increase in length will be taken care by your apical meristem. Okay, next comes to your intercalary meristem. So in this intercalary meristem, as I already told you, it is located in the area of nodes and your internodes, and even it is present at the base of the leaves. Okay, what is its function? See, always remember its function is it will help in elongation of nodes and internodes of your stems and root. Okay, as I already showed you in the previous diagram where the nodes and where the internodes are located. Okay, so here if you see properly here, next is your lateral meristem. Okay, so lateral meristem, as I already told you the location, it is present on the lateral sides of your stem and the roots, and its function is to increase the thickness of the plant. Okay, you must have seen in the initial stages your plant stem will be very thin, but over the year when this lateral meristem come into its function, then you will see that small stem is grown into a big trunk. Okay, so it includes your vascular cambium and cork cambium. Okay, the vascular means it will be having proper functioning of xylem and phloem that I'll be teaching in the further sections now. And then the cork cambium. Cork cambium means the formation of cork will be taking place. Okay, so here is the diagrammatic representation. You all can see this is the first or the initial stage of a plant, how it looks, and this is the later stage. So here majorly I am talking about your lateral meristem. Why here? Because you all can see this area is so thin earlier. Okay, because only the meristematic tissue was functioning, but later on if you see in this picture, when the lateral meristem has come into picture, this growth has increased over the year, and again the vascular cambium and the cork cambium has appeared. Okay, fine. Next we'll talk about the permanent tissue. So there is a process from where your meristematic tissue will convert into your permanent tissue, and that process is known as differentiation. Okay, so what is this differentiation process? In this differentiation process, your meristematic tissue will directly change into a permanent tissue. And in this, what will happen? Your meristematic tissue will stop division. Okay, remember this point that your meristematic tissue will stop dividing, and they take up a permanent shape, they take up a permanent size and function. So this process is known as your differentiation. Understood? Okay. Now we'll be talking about simple permanent tissue. As I already told you, permanent tissue are of two kinds. One is simple and the second one is complex. Okay. So in the simple, the major thing you all should know that they are made up of only single type of cells. Okay. In that we have three kinds. One is your permanent, next is your one is your parenchyma, next is your collenchyma, and then third is your sclerenchyma. Okay, so we'll start with the parenchymatous tissue. So here you should know about the location, the characteristic feature, and the function. These three things are very important. Okay, so location you should know they are present in the soft parts of the plants like your leaves, okay, or and your parts of the flower. Okay, what is the characteristic feature? Characteristic feature is that it's a living cell. Understood? And it consists of thin cell walls, and the cells which are present are loosely packed. And as they are loosely packed, what you will see, they'll be having large intercellular spaces. Okay, if in some container you have kept few things, okay, so when you will shake it, what you can see that the things which you have kept inside are loosely packed. Then why they are shaking? Because there are lot of spaces present in the box, so only the things which you have kept inside the box are shaking. Okay, so same case with this, that cells are loosely packed and has large intercellular space. Okay, what is the function? Function, it provides the support to the plant. Okay, next it helps in storage of food, and parenchyma of stems and roots store nutrients and water. So in this thing is very important because you all have to know this structure. So this structure is properly showing that cells are of same kind, and you all can see they are very loosely packed, so only the intercellular spaces are present. Here also you can see the intercellular space is present, here also it is present. Okay. Then for this parenchyma tissue, if these parenchyma tissue contains chlorophyll, okay, if these parenchyma cells contain chlorophyll, then they perform the process of photosynthesis and help in production of your glucose. And that glucose will be stored as a nutrients and utilized by the plant. So the tissue, the parenchymatous tissue which store chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis is known as chlorenchyma. Okay, so that tissue is your chlorenchyma, and the second one is your arenchyma tissue. Okay, so what is this arenchyma tissue? This is a type of parenchyma tissue which contains small pores. You see here, small holes are present in the stems of a lotus plant. Okay, and this basically feature will occur in your aquatic plants. You see, this is a lotus plant. Okay, this is an aquatic plant, lives inside the water. Okay, and why it is not why it is not draining inside the water? Because of the presence of the air spaces in your parenchyma tissue. So this parenchyma tissue will provide the buoyancy. What is the meaning of buoyancy? Buoyancy means it provides the ability to float over the water. So that floating, how it is happening? Because of the air spaces which you all can see on the stems of the parenchyma plant. So only this left side picture I am showing, this shows that in the stems of aquatic plant, that is lotus, is having air spaces which will provide buoyancy for floating over the water. Okay, understood? Fine. So same thing here I have written about chlorenchyma. I told you the main thing you all should know, chlorenchyma relates to the chlorophyll and your photosynthesis. And what about arenchyma? As the air represent, okay, the arenchyma name has come. So this arenchyma represent means they have large air spaces, due to which it will help in providing the buoyancy. And basically it's a peculiar characteristic feature of your aquatic plants. Understood? Next is your collenchyma tissue. Okay, so this collenchyma tissue, you all should know about the location, about its characteristic feature and its function. Okay, so if we proceed to the next one, what you all will see, this is the structure of your collenchyma tissue. So what you all can see, that it has, first of all, it is a living tissue, remember that. And secondly, what you all should know, that it is elongated and has a irregular thickened corners. You see this yellow color, the yellow color thickenings which is present in the corner. So these are the thickenings which will help in for providing easy bending for the plant. Okay, so what is the major function you got to know for this is, it will provide the flexibility to the plant without breaking. Okay, so you must have seen sometimes you will be plucking leaves and flowers from the plant. So it doesn't mean the whole stem will come out. No, only the flower will come out, and the rest all the part which is there, this will just go back to its own position. So why it is possible? How it is possible? It is possible with the presence of this collenchyma tissue. Okay, so remember what? It is a living tissue. Secondly, it is elongated and have irregularly thickened corners due to the deposition of this hard substance. Okay, and next it consists of your vacuoles and the cell wall. And what about the function? Function that it will provide the mechanical support. Okay, and then it will also help in easy bending without breaking. Understood? And what is the location? It is present in the stalk area. Okay, it is present in the leaf stalk below epidermis. Okay, so this is your leaf stalk, as I told you. So this is the plant. Okay, and this is the leaf. Below this leaf, this structure which you all can see, this structure which you all can see, this structure is the leaf stalk. This structure is the leaf stalk. So only your collenchyma tissues are densely present in this area. So only whenever we pluck something, so easy bending will be provided by the collenchyma tissues. I hope you all understood. Please see the diagram and try to collect everything in your brain. Okay. So next one is your sclerenchyma tissue. Okay, so this sclerenchyma tissue is majorly present in the stems and around the vascular bundles and veins of the leaves and hard coverings of the seed and the nuts. Okay, so here if you see, this is the sclerenchyma tissue structure, and what you all see here, that it is an elongated structure. Okay, and yes, very important is that this sclerenchyma tissue is dead tissue, and it consists of thick cell wall. You all can see the cell wall which is present here is very thick. Why it is thick? Because of the presence of lignin. Remember this point, that sclerenchyma tissue is thick and it has thick walls due to presence of lignin, and it is a dead tissue. And one more thing, that there is no intercellular spaces present in it. Okay, so always remember, in parenchyma a lot of intercellular space is present. In collenchyma there is very little intercellular space, and in your sclerenchyma tissue no intercellular spaces are present. Okay, next you all can see the location. So location, if you see, they are present on the covering of the nuts. And one more importantly, you see this coconut, the husk of coconut possess very large amount of sclerenchyma tissue. So only it is very hard. Okay. Next, we'll talk about the topic that is your epidermis. Okay. So what is epidermis? This epidermis is the outer covering of your tissue. Okay, so this is the outermost layer of the cells, so known as epidermis. Epi means over, above your dermis, above the skin which is present. Okay, so what is the location? It is present entire surface of the plant. So this is present all over the body of the plant. What is the characteristic feature? Its characteristic feature is it is made up of only single layer. Always remember that your epidermis is made up of single layer, and it is continuous layer without having any intercellular spaces. Okay, and the cells are relatively flat, and the outer and the side walls which you see is thicker than the inner walls. This is a single layer, but the outer wall which you see is little bit thicker than the inner wall. Why it is so? Why you should think that why it is so? Here also you see the green portion here, it is thick. Then the inner one, you see inner one is very thin. Okay, so this is the epidermis, where it is present on the surface of the leaf. Okay, so here what I was asking okay, why the outer layer of the epidermis is thick, or outer wall is very thick? Why? Because it has to protect the plant for different losses. Okay, it has to protect from harsh environment, because your plant cannot walk. Okay, the plant has to stay in the particular area itself. Okay, so whatever rain is coming, the drought is coming, the high sun rays are coming, it has to protect it. So that protection is provided by your epidermis. Okay, so here same I have written the aerial parts of the plant. What is the meaning of aerial parts of the plants? Means the area which is above the ground. Okay, that secrete, your epidermis secrete a waxy and water resistant layer which will help in protection against the water loss. Okay, so what will happen? It will not allow excess of water to come out of the plant. Okay, next is mechanical injury. If some injury occurs, then all the healing will be taken place by your epidermis. Next, invasion by parasitic plant. So invasion by parasitic fungi. So whatever pathogen is present in the atmosphere, that should not enter into the plant, because if once it enters, it will spoil the plant completely. Okay, so that waxing coating will restrict the entry of the fungus inside the plant. Okay, next, even your epidermal cells will contain root hairs which will help in surface area increase. Okay, it will help in increase the surface area, and especially this thing occurs in your roots. Okay, so whatever we have seen, these four characteristic feature, that was about your aerial parts of the plant. Okay, now whatever this point I am telling, that is for your roots. Okay, remember that. So in roots, what is happening? Your epidermal cells have root hairs which will increase the surface area and help in absorption of nutrients and water. Okay, and one more thing, that in desert plants, how your epidermis is? Your epidermis is comparatively thick than the plants which is living in the normal terrestrial or temperate areas. Okay, so please remember, in desert plants, epidermis is comparatively thick and secrete a waxy coating. That waxy coating name is very important. You all should remember, that is cutin, which will provide protection against the water loss, because you know in desert plants there is very less availability of water. Okay, Okay, so just see here what it is showing. It is showing that as plant grow older, then what will happen. Okay, so in this, as I told you, the epidermis is present on the earlier stages of the stem. Later on, what will happen? This epidermis is replaced by your secondary meristem, which is responsible for the formation of cork. And these cork cell you are easily can see in the picture which I have provided here. In this, what you all can see, this the cells of the cork are dead in nature. Okay, so only with the color itself you all can see that the cork cells are dead in nature, and they are compactly arranged without any intercellular spaces. Okay, and one more thing you all should know, okay, this cork, which also secretes a waxy coating, is known as suberin. Okay, which is very like important. Why? Because it do not provide the entry and exit of any gases or water. Because if this suberin layer is not present, then it is possible that the large amount of gaseous exchange or the water removal takes place from the body, which is very harmful, because we do not want that to happen. Okay, so just to protect all the nutrients and gases, what this cork cells will do, they'll provide a waxy coating to the cork. That is your the coating name is your suberin. Okay, so I hope till here you all understood many things. We spoke about different layers, and this is all about your simple permanent tissue. Okay, so later on we'll talk about, now here is your stomata. So this is again a very important concept. So this stomata is nothing but the small pores which is present on the epidermis. Okay, so stomata are the small pores which is present on this epidermis, and it is surrounded by two kidney shaped cells. Here you all can see these are your kidney shaped cells, and the name is guard cells. Okay, so these kidney shaped cells are known as guard cells, which help in two functions. Okay, so first function is it help in exchange of gases. So during photosynthesis and your respiration, exchange of gases takes place. And secondly, it helps in your transpiration. What is transpiration? It is the loss of water in the form of water vapors. Okay, so this transpiration also many times they can ask you. Okay, so next one, as we have completed the simple permanent tissue and all epidermis and stomata, now we'll be talking about your complex permanent tissue. So as I told you already that your simple permanent tissue is made up of only one kind of cell. And so here what you all should know, that complex permanent tissue is made up of more than one kind of cells. Okay, and these different kinds of cells will like coordinate the function of each other and perform a common function. Okay, so here in complex permanent tissue it is divided into two types. One is your phloem and other one is your xylem. Okay, so here the first picture which you all should see, these are the xylem, which consist of different cells. Okay, and this you all can, the second picture, that is your phloem, that consists of different phloem cells. So here you should see the green color phloem parenchyma is present, and this purple color you see, these are the companion cells. Okay, and your sieve tubes elements will be present here, and these are the sieve pores. Okay, so this is the four different parts which is present in your phloem. And always remember that your phloem will help in transportation of nutrients and food. Okay, so for that transportation, your four elements are coming into picture, which I've already told you in the diagram. And next one, if you see in the left diagram, that is your xylem, which consists again of four parts. That is your tracheids. You all can see this is a first picture, that is your tracheids. Okay, then is your vessels, which help in easy transportation of water. Okay, and then this is your xylem parenchyma. So the all cells of xylem as well as phloem coordinate together and perform a particular function. So what is that function? All the xylem cells will help in transportation of water, and all the phloem cells will help in transportation of your food. Okay, understood? Next, here I have given a difference between your xylem and phloem, which is very important, because in exam also they'll be asking you questions related to this. Okay, so what is the function of xylem? It helps in conduction of water. Here phloem undergo conduction of your food. Okay, so next the xylem moves in unidirection, that is from roots to stem. Okay, and then phloem moves in bidirection, from top to bottom and then bottom to top. Okay, and this xylem consists of 4 different types of cells, that is your tracheids, your vessels, and xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Okay, and the main important thing why I put here star is that in xylem only xylem parenchyma is living, and rest all components of tissue are dead in nature. Okay, and this phloem also consists of 4 different kinds of cell, that is your seed tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. And here this star indicates that in phloem only one cell is dead and rest all are living in nature. Okay, so these things are very important. Please remember, xylem help in water conduction, phloem help in food conduction, and then xylem is unidirectional, phloem is bidirectional, and you should remember these 4 different kinds of cells and which is dead and which is living in both of them. Okay,
So, if you all understood everything, then you all will be able to complete this worksheet without any doubts. You all can answer me in the comment section also, and if any doubts, you can ask me in the same, and answers I'll be giving in the next videos. Thank you.